because I know I'm going to want to read them all, guys. This is just how it's going to be. Please tell me how beautiful that is. So this is the bad side of mass market paper book covers. Like, look at this. This is a joy to read. Hello everyone and welcome. Today I'm going to be talking about old school fantasy. I've been reading quite a bit of fantasy recently. I'll tell you what happened. This is how I got into it, alright? Here on my shelves, sometimes before I go to bed, I come and sit and look at the shelves, and I sit at them and I like pull books from the shelves, and then I read a little bit from it and see if I want to get into it. So I pulled Lord of the Rings off the shelf and I'm like, you know what? Let me give it a peruse. I opened the pages randomly in the beginning. It was at the part where Gandalf is telling Frodo the story of Smeagol and Gollum and how the ring came to be and how the ring came to be in his possession and where it's been this whole time. And I was just enthralled. I like sat there. I was already tired. I really want to go to bed, and I just sat there for 4 pages, just keep on reading. And I was like, maybe I should read this. Maybe I should drop everything and start reading it, which I did. I'm pretty confident that I absolutely adore this. I adore it so much. It's hard to put into words really, because I feel like it's more of a feeling. It's more of a, I don't dare I say, a vibe. Tolkien is rolling in his grave. I just was like soaking up everything. Now obviously there are multiple times during this where they're throwing names of things and you don't know if it's a person or a place, and there's a lot of information, a lot of lore dumps all the time. But at the same time, I was just like going with the flow, and like things will click eventually. I'll probably read this again, and I will say it's probably because I have, you know, watched the movies, and culturally this is such a big thing in pop culture, and there's been movies and there's TV shows, and the characters are just in pop culture. I think you're kind of aided when you read this because of that. And I also want to say, I was reading, there's no structure to this. I don't even know how I'm going to structure this. I think I'm just going to, I really should have written something down, if I'm honest. I loved the writing in this. I saw a lot of reviews talking about the writing being flowery and stiff and all this kind of things, and I just disagreed with a lot of that. Maybe factually they're correct in his descriptions and stuff, but I loved every minute of it. I loved all of it. The thing is, well, there's a lot of songs, and I find that's really hard for me to like grasp. Luckily there's a YouTube channel where they put music to the songs. I find it hard. Initially I was just reading them just with my inner voice, and then like by the end of it I was like, you know, getting into it. I was like, maybe I'm a hobbit and I'm singing as well. I'm singing with Bilbo, I'm singing with Frodo, I'm singing with Legolas. I'm singing with them by the end of it. But I can see there was a lot of songs, just a ton. And I guess that's one fun way to do exposition or tell stories of like things that have gone past. And obviously they're lore, so maybe it's not factual, it's stories and building things up, but whatever. I adored it. Also, I'm going to talk about my background. I just realized I did not say anything about it. But we'll get to some of these, because I'm going to talk about, well, we have The Hobbit here. I have not read it yet. I've seen the movies a little bit, but yeah, okay. We'll talk about Shannara in a second, or Shannara, excuse me. We got sci-fi here. We've got Lost Realms. We've got another one, okay? Because I loved the art of the covers of mass market paperbacks, I decided to display them, okay? In short, adore these. There was just, you know, it's hard for me sometimes to like get in the zone, in the feeling of where a character is, instead of just reading it on a page and there's kind of a distance. But you know, when Frodo is in the inn and he's like all cozy up and he's just eaten and he's like, man, I wish I was back at the Shire. And I'm like, Frodo, if I were in your position, I would do the same thing. And he's like, he's just being so like he would be. What's interesting, there's so many interesting things about this. No one knows who hobbits are. Some people don't. I feel like when they got to the elves in Lothlorien, the elves didn't know. It's like, who are these half people, halflings or whatever? Never seen them before. And vice versa. I guess they have heard of elves, but it's like, you know, no, it's so odd that these people don't know who they are. But I also love the grand scale of this. Just so long. The elves being immortal, just being, everyone has been around, and like Elrond's just sitting there around, and he's just telling people about things that happened yonks ago, you know? So I do like that. It feels old. It feels like the world's been lived in, you know? So can't wait. I just went to Half Price Books to get Two Towers, which I am excited to read, and I am so excited to get this kind of copy instead of this. I really dislike this. I mean, I know we want to see the ring and everything, but this is freaking cool. And, you know, I also spoiled myself, and then I got Return of the King as well, because I know I'm going to want to read them all, guys. This is just how it's going to be. So they look cute like that. So I was reading this, and I actually have been reading The Sword of Shannara, which is here too. I have many copies of this book. It's a long story, but I have a lot of copies of it. So I actually do know a little bit of history about this. Which cover is better, do you think? I don't know. I kind of like this blue and gold, and I really do like this. I've been reading this one for a hot minute. I've not finished yet, but I feel like I'm confident I can give what I think about it. It's I've also been listening to this a little bit on the way to work. So I read it here at night, and then whatever, you don't care. I actually bought this from Book People. Cute. These two are compared a lot because Lord of the Rings is much, much older than Sword of Shannara. I keep wanting to say Shannara because that's how my mom said it. So I don't know. As far as I can tell, this is very similar. Okay, and I could go on about how they are different, but overall the structure is kind of similar. We have, you know, a dark wizard, or not a wizard, but like a dark figure comes to a kid in the Vale who's used to farm life and chilling, gets told he's on an epic adventure and he's the chosen one, and yada yada, and they go on a quest, essentially. I do think there are a lot of differences. There are similarities that you can pull, but in my opinion, I think they're different enough to warrant this book's existence. Like, let's chill out, guys. Books can be similar. And I did read that this book sort of reignited the love for fantasy back in the 70s. And this is, even though I'm gonna say for me this is a 3-star book, I didn't find it exciting or anything. It didn't grip me as much as Lord of the Rings did. But I do think I just found it, it's bland. I do hear that the second and third books are better, and I do have the second book and I have the third book right here. I mean, look at this, guys. Please tell me how beautiful that is. Guys, gorgeous, beautiful. So I will be reading those as well. Let's do a map review of this one. I think overall it's a good map. I enjoyed it. My issue is that where Flick and Shay come from is like literally in the crease. A lot of the stuff that's happening in this book happens in the crease, and that really annoys me to no end when books do that. It kills me. Good maps in general. This copy of this book is pretty nice as well because it has pictures. It has pictures. Let me see if I can. So there is our boy. Pretty sure that's Al-Anon. Also, isn't that what they call Alcoholics Anonymous? Al-Anon? But anyways, so there's our two brothers and Al-Anon coming to take Shay and Flick on their quest. I feel like I'm still quite distant from what's happening in this, but I'm excited to get into the next one once I'm finished. Another note, the audiobook narrator, terrible. It makes me not like the book. If I'm honest. I also have the blue, this cover of the third one. Guys, I have too many of the copies of these. Like, look at this. This is a joy to read. It's a joy. I love it. All right, so these two get compared a lot, and I think he literally said, though, I'm pretty sure he said that's the point. Here's what I would say. If you want to read them, I would say read this first. I think the younger you are, the better. This is a great book for like in high school. You can read this pretty young. The language in this is a little, I still think it's not too bad, but it might take a little bit to get your mind into it. And that brings me to my next book that I want to talk about. Now, this one I'm not that far in, but talking about language, I was reading Dragonflight. This one I got from the library. I've taken it out from the library. And like, just please listen to this. Hold on. When was this written? 1968. Now listen to this, okay? On a beautiful world called Pern, please God. You're gonna have to deal with the grass cutting. On a beautiful world called Pern, an ancient way of life is about to come under attack from a myth that is all too real. Lessa is an outcast survivor, her parents murdered, her birthright stolen, a strong young woman who has never stopped dreaming of revenge. But when an ancient threat to Pern re-emerges, Lessa will rise upon the back of a great dragon with whom she shares a telepathic bond, more intimate than any human connection. Together, dragon and rider will fly, and Pern will be changed forever. And it's not even that long. Like, okay, but the language is nuts in this. This is not for the faint of heart, I'm telling you. There was one line that absolutely killed me. I'm really not that far at all in this, but I feel like I need to buy it. Okay, here we go. Lessa sighed. She had found no answer in the dawn, only discrepant portents. She must wait. The warning had come, and she had accepted it. She was used to waiting. Perversity, endurance, and guile were her other weapons, loaded with the inexhaustible patience of vengeful dedication. Jesus Christ. So anyways, the language in this is pretty hectic. This is, again, it might just take a moment to like get into it, because it's the same with a Lord of the Rings. You've kind of just got to just live the language, you know, just like be in the language, just soak it in, just relax into it. Don't push against it. Don't be like, what does this mean? Da, da, da. Just lean into it and relax. The description on the back, I'm so excited to get into this a lot more. Hope you enjoyed the arts in the background. Just picture them as posters. That's the look I'm going for. I don't know where Game of Thrones is. I haven't read this one. I did read Game of Thrones. Another classic. You know, everyone's got to read Game of Thrones if you love fantasy, and rightfully so. I do think as well, it makes it easier if you've seen the show multiple times. You know who's who in the zoo. You know what they look like. You know, well, roughly. And that makes it a ton easier to get into these. So I look forward to reading further on in the series. From what I understand, the first book, which I can attest to, the first book is incredibly faithful to the book. Incredibly faithful. It's insane how they were able to do that. There's little things here or there that aren't in the show, but overall, insane what they did. And then as the seasons go on and the books go on, it's completely different and they veer off into somewhere. Who knows where? Have you read any of these? Have you read the Dragon Riders of Pern series? Have you read the Sword of Shannara? Are you reading the Fellowship of the Ring? Because honestly, I enjoy fantasy so much, and I feel like sometimes when I read like Book of the Month books and literary fiction, sometimes I feel like, oh, do I just hate reading? And it's like, no, I just need to get back to the things I love to read, which is fantasy. Oh, I just love it. I actually haven't read a fantasy romance in a hot minute, but I think, isn't that what this is supposed to be? I don't know. I'm reading this. This is one I'm currently reading. Where's the other one? Oh yeah. That was the other thing I got from Half Price Books, was the second in the series. So this is the bad side of mass market paper book covers. This is ugly. Okay, so there is this version, but Half Price Books didn't have it, so I was forced to get, you know, this one. She's serving on there, you know. She's gone to the Renaissance Fair, but I was hoping to get this cover of the second book, but alas, we'll see. They're only like $4 each. So, anywho, that's the end of this. Have you read anything? Like I said, let me know. Is there any other classic fantasy that should be on my radar? I mean, I know I'm missing something because I didn't write anything down, like I said before, but yes, absolutely adoring Lord of the Rings. And I actually do, I have the Silmarillion, so I'll be reading that as well. That is incredibly dry and dense, but I love deepening my lore knowledge of the history of Middle-earth and Sauron and his dastardly deeds. But yes, I will see you next time, and I hope you have a great weekend, maybe? Okay, bye!